I'm Russ Heaves, and welcome to this segment of Beer to Whiskey. This is one of our special Big Jon and 5 segments where Big Jon Richards, who knows quite a bit about beer, he and I are going to sit here and chat about beers during these segments. And what are we drinking here, John?
We're drinking the Sierra Nevada 2017 Octoberfest collaboration with Miltenberger Brewery out of, unsurprisingly, Miltenberg, Germany.
What a coinkydink.
What a coinkydink.
And what, it's Octoberfest, does that mean it's a particular style? Is every Oktoberfest
Well,
a particular?
it's traditionally an amber lager, most closely related to a Märzen or a Marzen lager, depending on if you're in Germany or not, and really close to a Vienna lager. They're all almost exactly the same beer, but they are a very light-bodied, very clean, slightly sweet, slightly bready, sometimes a little spicy, but very little hops. And it creates a real easy transition into the bigger beers of fall, the browns, and eventually the stouts, and the things that come along with barley wines. And so this is your sort of intro to fall beer, if you will.
Ah, okay.
And this one, they, in fact, in their brewery description, talk about how they really like the way Miltenberg interprets the classic style of Oktoberfest, which in Munich has now become a much blonder and much drier and much lighter colored and even bodied beer than this is, reflecting a little of the, it hits the last weekend of the last 2 weeks of September, so you're really not into cold weather yet.
Right.
So the Munich breweries have started brewing a much lighter beer than even this, which comes off almost blonde and very dry, which doesn't, at least to me, translate to fall as much as this one does.
Is some of that change, you think, driven by the reality that a lot of Americans show up over there with their Miller and Bud
I think so.
pallets
And I think that the lager revolution didn't affect just us, and the fact that we had our own race to the bottom, and I think other countries have found that large breweries are pushing a cheaper quality of beer. Although some of that's changed with the last 10 years of drinking beer. Even the big brewers have started trying to push better quality and better taste experience with their beers just by the introduction of some of these really good American craft.
So where does lager fall into the tier of beers, ales and ambers?
There's really just two kinds of beer in the grand scheme of things. There's lager and there's ale, and those are two different yeast strains. One ferments cold and takes a little longer, that's a lager, and one ferments warm and ferments a little faster and is a little more aggressively flavorful, if you will. And so if you're talking lager, it could be dark and black and inky and just as stout tasting as any other stout, but the ale is going to have a lot more body and a lot more aggressiveness to it. So the lager and ale don't necessarily mean light or dark.
Okay. This is pretty good.
This is a nice little beer, isn't it? This was, I think, my favorite of the collaborations they've done so far. Even some of the earlier ones have been done more in that Munich style that have come out of Sierra these last couple of years. And this one, much more of at least what I consider to be a traditional Oktoberfest.
Tell me again what I should be tasting.
You should be tasting a little caramel and a little toffee for the sweetness, a breadiness and a kind of cereal-like wheat quality, a real clean finish on the end with a little bit of that toffee hanging on. There's a touch of spice in the top of this one, but not very much in the way of any kind of hop bitterness.
Now, is this done at the brewery in Asheville, or is this done in the one in?
This is done here.
Okay.
Yeah. They collaborate with the brewers in Germany, but the production of the beer actually happens in Sierra.
And for anybody that really likes craft breweries and is interested in beer, the Sierra Nevada brewery in Asheville, North Carolina, which has been open now, maybe a year and a half, 2 years?
Probably 2 years.
Yeah, is a travel destination in itself, and coincidentally and conveniently, it's right next to the Asheville airport. So,
it's a cathedral up there, Russ.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
it really is. It's just an amazing operation, and if you think you're going to visit and you want to go take a tour, book it way ahead of time, because they are booked up weeks and weeks and weeks in advance. It is a big, big deal. Just a gorgeous property, and obviously they're making some good beer.
Obviously, some really good beer. I've just recently had some friends spend some time, on their own, just going up to Sierra Nevada without me and whatnot, and coming back with stories of how, man, my wife doesn't even like beer, but we found some beer that she loves, and the food was great, and the atmosphere is wonderful, and they're going to go back, and they want to do it again. They want to take me along, and whatever.
Yeah, right.
So it's like,
well, if you're going to go have beer, you're the guy that you want to take along.
That's what they tell me.
Unless you're paying for the beer, and then
right.
that's not a good plan. Financially, not a good plan.
Right.
Well, great. I think this was a fine choice.
Thank you. I think it's a really wonderful example of the style. I think they nailed it pretty much right on the head with the color and the content and everything going on there as far as the real definition.
I would have to agree.
Good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you next time on Big Jon and 5.